Hello, my name is Adam, and welcome to the first episode of the Adam Laukitis Show. I am your host, Adam, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins and their most recent loss to the Ottawa Senators tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins lost 2-1 to the Ottawa Senators, to a rookie, I wouldn't even say rookie, a goaltender making his first NHL start. Penguins are now 5th in the Metropolitan Division. They are outside of the playoffs. Tonight was a heartbreaking loss. Carter Kell ties it up late, and then Drake Batherson scores the game-winning goal later with like 2 minutes and 30-ish seconds left, 2 minutes left. And we lose, we throw everything at the kitchen sink, everything and the kitchen sink at the Ottawa Senators, but we end up losing. The main purpose of today's video and episode is, should the Pittsburgh Penguins make the Stanley Cup playoffs? Should they or should they not? I don't know. If we make it, we're either going to be a first or second wild card, because we are 12 points back of the Rangers. We are definitely not catching them for third. And we're either going to be playing the New Jersey Devils, Carolina Hurricanes, or the Boston Bruins in the first round. If we play Boston, we're probably going to lose in 5, maybe 6. I do see us getting a squeaking away a win. The other two, we're either going to lose in 6 or 7 to the Devils or to the Carolina Hurricanes. I'd rather take on the Hurricanes than the Devils, just simply based on the fact that my heart wouldn't be able to take losing to the Devils. That's who I'd rather play, even though I think we might have a stronger stance against the Devils because they're a younger team, less experienced compared to what we have. That being said, I don't know if we should make it, or I don't know if we will make it. I don't know if we should push for that spot. I don't know if we should lose every game of the rest of the season. I don't know. If you would have told me 5 years ago that Sidney Crosby will be playing out of his mind, on pace for another 100-point season, Gino's playing his best hockey, Chris Letang suffers from a stroke, comes back 10 days later, plays 8 games, gets injured, loses his father passes away, comes back, scores 2 goals, 2 assists, his first game back versus the Florida Panthers, the game-winning goal in overtime, and has been arguably one of the best players since he's come back, and that we would be outside the playoff spot with 12 games in hand, with 12 games not in hand, with 12 games remaining. I would have called you crazy and a moron. Because at that point, 5 years ago, Sid was 30, Gino was 31. 5 years ago, we're what? 2023, 2018. We just lost to the Capitals in the second round after we won back-to-back cups. If you would have showed me the roster that we have, I would have assumed that that is a Stanley Cup caliber roster on paper. 5 years ago, you showed me this roster. It's a Stanley Cup caliber team on paper. You tell me Jeff Carter is on the team as a third-line center, and he's the perfect fit because he's taking face-offs. He's very efficient in the face-off dot. Told me that we have Brian Dumoulin and Marcus Pettersson. Brian Dumoulin, the best shutdown defenseman we had during those 2 cup runs. Saying that we still had him. And then telling me that we're outside the playoff spot. I would have called you crazy. There's too many issues with this team right now. We don't have any right to make the playoffs with the roster we have, with how everyone is injured, and how we have goaltending's been an issue. We have no right making the playoffs, or yet alone doing anything in them. But yet again, I don't know. Like, we could never count out Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's what I've learned. Never count out Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's what I've learned. You never count them out. They've been saying the downfall of Sidney Crosby. Evgeny Malkin, and Christopher Letang for years. The downfall of those three, the trio that has been here, the longest lasting trio in sports history, not just in NHL history, in sports history. If you would have told me that those three, the main core from when Sid was drafted, is still playing at an elite level and producing, and Sid's on pace for a 100-point season, and Chris Letang is on pace for, I don't even know what he's on pace for, but he's on pace for a very statistically advanced, proven season since coming back from his injury and stroke and father passing away. If you had told me all of that, and that the reason that we were going to miss the playoffs was because of the bottom four and the bottom six, I would have called you crazy. To tell me that the moves that our general manager Ron Hextall is doing, and how he didn't do anything at the deadline going all in just at the start of the season, I would have called you crazy. Because you have Sidney Crosby on your team. Any team that has Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, you're an automatic contender. Period. End of story, in my opinion. You throw those three onto the Arizona Coyotes, you will make them a playoff contender. They will probably push and drag and kick that team to the playoffs. That's what they're trying to do here. Push, drag, kick, carry this team to the playoffs. Our only hope is catching fire in a bottle and going in hot. If we go in hot, if we go in winning 8 of our last 10, 7 of our last 10, if we go in of these last 12, we win 8 of our last 12 going in. If we win 9 of our last 12, hell, if we go 12 for 12 going in hot, I like our chances of making it out of the first round. If we don't go in hot, if we go in cold, if we go in 500 and somehow Florida fucks their way out of a playoff spot, if somehow the Sabres, somehow the Senators, somehow the Caps all fuck their way out, and we go in mediocre, we go in 6 of 6, 7 of 6, 6 of 6, 7 of 5, going in, I don't like our chances. If we can go in 8 of 12, 9 of 12, 10 of 12, or greater, I like our chances making some noise. Doesn't mean we're going to win, but we're going to push either Boston, Carolina, or the Devils to the brink into Game 7. That's my thought process. That's what I think will happen if we go in winning 8 of our last 12. Because we have 12 games remaining. Current record is 34, 26, and 10. So technically, if you include overtime losses, we are below 500. And we've played 70 games. We have a -4 goal differential on a losing streak of 4. Jari's not performing. DeSmith's not performing. Well, he's turned it around a little bit since Jari's gotten back. But I don't know what to think. I don't know. Any year that you have Sidney Crosby on the Pittsburgh Penguins, you should be going out all in. And the bottom 6, Ron Hextall, Brian Burke, and Sully are the reasons to blame for this team not doing anything at this particular moment. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything to help the team. They didn't do anything to help the team to try and help get this team into the playoffs. And I knew that this was going to happen, that when we signed... I knew this was going to happen when we signed Gino and Letang to those long-term deals, that they're going to retire Penguins, as they should. They've earned that right. They've brought this city 3 championships since 2005, 2006. They've brought this city 3 championships, 4 finals appearances, and 5 conference final appearances. They have earned their right to stay in Pittsburgh and retire. And the moment that we signed Letang, I thought, good, sign Letang. Letang's more valuable than Evgeny Malkin at that point in time in the summer last year. When we signed Gino, I knew, deep down, we were going to become the Red Wings of 4 or 5 years ago when they sucked, when everybody got old and they had those long-term deals. I knew that. I prepared myself for that, but I was preparing myself for that for 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years down the line of us having Letang, maybe Gino. Gino's probably retired in 4 years. Sid, I have no clue. But I was expecting in 3 to 4, maybe 4 to 5 years, this team is not going to be competing for a playoff spot. I was not expecting in the first year of signing Letang and Gino in the offseason to those extensions when they both took pay cuts to stay with the team, which I greatly appreciate. Hextall actually doing that, somehow getting Letang below market value, but he stretched out the years. Same with Gino. But I'm just at a loss for words. I'm angry, disappointed, saddened by the fact that this team is not going to be able to do anything in the playoffs in the first round since 2018. Beat the Flyers in 6 games in 2018, then we lost to the Caps in 6 games in 2018. Sidney Crosby had something like 20 or 19 or 20 points in 12 games. And if we just got a little bit more consistent goaltending, if we would have won that series versus the Washington Capitals, if we would have won that overtime game against the Caps in 2018, I think we go on a run. I think we go against 7 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Maybe go all the way and beat whoever the cap spot. They beat Vegas. I think we would have been able to beat Vegas. We were the exact same caliber type of team as the Caps. We just played too many games in too many seasons. In 2 seasons, we played 82 and 82, and then we played we beat the Rangers in 5, then we beat the Caps in 6, then we beat Tampa in 7, and we beat the Sharks in 6 in 2016. So you got 82 plus 5 is 87, and then 6 plus 87, that's going to be 93, plus 7, that's going to be 100, and then that's going to be 106 games in one season, and then same thing, 108 games. Yeah, 108 games because we went to 7 again, then went to 6. So yeah, 106 and 108, bringing up to 214 games in the span of 2 years. They were tired. They might not have went on the whole way, but I think they might have been able to pull it out. But ever since then, we haven't been performing. We haven't been doing what we've been used to, and this fan base has been spoiled rotten to the core. We've been able to watch Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang win and bring us 3 championships, 4 finals appearances, 5 conference final appearances. Next episode, we're going to go into playoff rounds of how we got eliminated and who's to blame, and catch you guys then. Until then, this is Adam. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go get this edited and posted, so that way hopefully it's out by either late tonight, early tomorrow morning on March 21st. Alrighty. Peace out.